Radio, everybody. Hello, welcome back to December's edition of Handball Hits. And of course, we're getting close to Christmas, so I'm getting very excited. In fact, I even had my Christmas jumper out in Cambridge this month for our monthly dose of live handball games. Jack, you're not looking very festive. What's going on?
Well, I mean, my office, yeah, all my decorations were in the living room sort of thing. So I should have taken my webcam over there. But you say you had your festivities in Cambridge. Where is it tonight? I don't own one, but...
There's tinsel over behind me. I don't know if you can sort of see.
That you're blocking. Yeah, I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one.
Now, Jack, I thought you could join us, could you, for our dose of games this month? It was a bit of a shame, wasn't it? You're always very missed, Jack, I have to say. Very much missed.
Well, I was going to say, you slated me for my lack of festivities today. The reason why I couldn't actually come to the game was because I was having a Christmas do on the Friday night and the Saturday night, and it was in Leeds. I didn't think going down to Cambridge was probably a safe idea, really, more than anything, without going too much into how hard the festivities were. But it was a good weekend, and by the looks of it, the games were really good as well, to be fair. So I'm sad I missed it. I have watched them back a couple of times, and it looked like a really exciting weekend of handball.
I was going to say all work and no play, but it's actually all play and no work for you, isn't it?
It's December, it's Christmas.
Right, everybody, coming up tonight, as we said, we've got highlights of both our men's and women's games that we showed live. We have a very special guest as well. The Arctic Falcons player, Klaudia, is going to be with us after the highlights. Before we do that, though, before we bring Klaudia in, we do have the handball news to bring you. What has been going on in the last month in the world of men's and women's Premier Handball League and England handball in general? Well, I've got a couple of items, nothing too much. You may remember last month we were talking about Ricardo Vasconcelos, of course, just taken on a new position with England handball. I'm delighted to say congratulations to Ricardo, by the way, absolutely lovely bloke as well. The British Handball Association just extended his contract for another 4 years after the success at the IHF Emerging Nations Championship. So congratulations to Ricardo. Fantastic stuff there. Big things, no doubt, coming over the course of 4 years. And there's been an announcement as well. If you've got a kid who wants to get involved in handball, well, look at this. This is the Under-13s. It's a new tournament, the Under-13 County Cup. So it's a brand new tournament. Age groups under 13 going to be coming for county victory. Jack, that's a nice inclusion, isn't it? We want more people in the game, and this is the perfect way to do it, right?
Absolutely. I loved playing in the county tournaments when I was younger in the under-15s categories, I think it was. Under-15s and maybe under-16s when I was competing. Absolutely. Yeah. Well on 11, 12 years ago now. A bit longer, a bit shorter for me than it is for you, Ian. But yeah, it was really good fun playing for Cheshire, and we had some really good sort of players that always helped. So we were quite decent, but a fantastic sort of ecosystem of people who played handball and have continued to play handball as well through the years. And fingers crossed, the under-13s, we see exactly the same sort of thing over the next 12 years. We see the same people playing handball for all those 10, 15 years. Yeah,
absolutely. And from one end of the spectrum actually to the other as well, there is a little bit of new news as well. The second edition of the England Handball Association Coach Level 2 Award is now live. If you want to apply and go and do that, the place to do it and find out more is right there beneath us, www.handball.com. And if you don't even want to type that out to make life even easier for you, wherever you're watching this, there is a link in the body of this broadcast. It will take you straight through to the England Handball Association's website. Just give it a click. That's all you have to do. Of course, we are live across Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, LinkedIn, all over the UK, all over the world as well, for your monthly dose of handball action. Right, now that is the news. Done, dusted, finito, finished. Congratulations, lovely stories. But let's move on to the action in December, shall we? We made the trip. Now, actually, Jack, I know you know Cambridge very, very well. Did you know that Cambridge don't actually play in Cambridge? Did you know that?
I did not. Are they closer to Leeds? Did I miss out on something here?
No.
Oh, right.
No. They actually play home games in Northampton, would you believe? So I made the trip to Northampton because Jack was partying it up, having a good time whilst I was doing all the hard work.
You have one weekend off. You don't let it get with you, do you? Bloody hell.
So I made the trip to Northampton for Cambridge's home game against Arctic Falcons in the Women's Premier Handball League South and against Carshalton Titans in the men's Premier Handball League South. We're going to focus on the women's game first off. We've got the highlights to show you, and as soon as the highlights finish, I'm delighted to say our special guest Klaudia is going to be in the studio with us. I'm very much looking forward to it. So here we go. Here's the highlights of Cambridge against Arctic Falcons in the women's Premier Handball League South.
Straight into it, Falcons with the ball straight out of the hat. What sort of game are we going to see? Are we going to see fast paced? Are we going to see attacking? It's a goal straight out the bat. And what a goal that was, blimey, what a great goal. That was for Cambridge, played in the men's game a little bit earlier. He'll be wanting to get a win. There goes Sonia. What a great goal that is, number 14. We want to get as many people watching this game as possible. It's a wind up, it's a great goal, it's a throw, and it's a score. It just goes a big, long throw. Does she find Kirby? Yes, she does. She does. What a great goal. That is Kinga Guba there, and she finds it. That was a brilliant setup. Now in this half, there goes Iona Mashina. She does score, but I think she travelled too far into the Cambridge half, into the box, so it won't count. It's no goal. We will be up. Oh, what a goal that is as well. Once again, it's 17-10 in this game. Oh, and it's a great goal, and it's the first goal for Cambridge in this second half, and it gives them an 8-goal lead once. Over on the right-hand side. Is there a way through? Oh, there is, and it's a very good goal. That's Laura Boca with the goal. And once again, it is now Cambridge stretching that lead. They've scored 2 goals. We've actually still got 20 seconds on the clock, actually. I've got just a little bit ahead. There's still 20 seconds or so left to play. So here we go. Here is Iona. Can they get one more? They're going to continue with possession. There's 10 seconds left of this game to go. There goes the full-time hooter.
Yeah, there we go. Have a look at some of the action there. As you can see, Cambridge winning that one is 34-18. And as you can see, here we are, Klaudia has joined. Now, Klaudia, I can't say your surname. I'm so sorry, I just can't say it.
No one. Unless you're Polish.
Now, it finished, obviously, as I just said, Cambridge 34, Arctic Falcons 18. That doesn't quite tell the whole story, though, does it, Klaudia? Talk us through it.
No, not at all. Do you know what? The game started really well. Coming into a game, we already knew it's going to be tough because we only had 7 players. So we knew we're not going to have, any substitutions or a coach on the side to give us timeouts. And at the end of the game, I'm sure Aggie strategically already said that they didn't take any times out to tire. They knew we was going to be knackered, and we really was. And I think on the second half of the highlights, you can see me just strolling down the court as somebody's fast break. You can tell how tired we all were. Oh, it was incredible. But apart from that, we had so much fun, and the competition was there from the beginning to the end. We gave our all. And you could even see me and Ivona were just chatting like, what we doing? Like, we just need to run, but we can't run because we're just both. But we tried our best, and the whole team did, and we had fun, and we enjoyed ourselves. And yeah, the score doesn't reflect, good on Cambridge because they played amazingly, but on our part, I think we tried our best till the end. We never gave up, and that's what matters.
Yeah, Jack, what did you make of it? You watched it back, and of course I was there as well. But my thoughts, as I said to Klaudia, you didn't stop smiling throughout the game. You and Iona there having a great time, and Sarah in goal as well. She was actually player of the match as well. But yeah, Jack, from the outside and watching it back, what did you make of it?
I would say that you could sort of tell that you guys were a little bit tired. But to be fair, I think my notes actually say you guys upped the intensity in the second half than you did in the first half. I thought the attack was you had a sort of a lot more intent about it. You were all of a sudden running onto the ball a bit more and just throwing a little bit more ambition into it. And yeah, Cambridge broke and they fast broke and everything like that. But did you feel like in the first half the fact that you had no subs was sort of playing on your mind, and then the second half you felt a bit more free? Because that's the impression that I got.
I think it was, yes, I would have trained together. So I haven't trained with the girls ever since the season started. No, we played a game as a team. So that was a first game where I've met majority of the girls, and we've never played a team all together. So I think in the first half, we're trying to get to know each other, who plays where and what's the best combination, and individually how we want to play it. And then we were kind of also learning while warming up different formations. So what is the playmaker doing, what is the right back doing, and sometimes it worked in the game and sometimes it did. Chat during halftime, and we were like, do you know what, just go for it, and if you see a gap, go for it. And that's what we did in the second half, and I think it worked much better because we had that chat and we had each other covered. But in the first half, I think we were getting to know each other a little bit on the court. Because even though me and Ivona played together, that is just the two of us, a playmaker and a left back. That's nothing. We need the whole team. What it was. And second half, we were just like, go for it. And that's what we did.
Klaudia, how hard is it then playing without a coach on the side? Yeah, it's got to be quite hard, isn't it? Because obviously Cambridge had a near full complement of play, could rotate easily. You already mentioned one of their tactics was to not take a time out to try and tire you guys out. I mean, you thought maybe in the interest, perhaps a bit of sportsmanship at the end, they might have just let you have a minute off, but no.
Not having a coach, yes, because sometimes you do need that, somebody on the side telling you, okay, do this or do that, or cover this person, or maybe go forward to that person. And we just had to figure it out on our own. And Ivona and Sarah were very good on court. They were kind of telling us what to do, and that was incredible. We needed that. And Sarah especially, she was like, hands up and move left and move right. We had, and we really tried. But when you're tired, and you kind of hearing things and you're kind of not, it's like you're just doing that time and you're trying to help your teammates, and then you're trying to hopefully go for a fast break, and you're just trying your best. Having a coach to give us that little time out and a little bit of tactics, or shouting at us on the side of the court with good intention helps a lot. So not having that, I think, we did kind of breather a bit too many times on court.
Jack, do you think it's a bit of a killer instinct almost from Cambridge to know that they've got no subs, we're not going to have any timeouts, that they were comfortably on top as well? It is the top flight of handball, so it's go for it, isn't it? There's no charity given here.
No.
Absolutely, yeah. You got to be ruthless. To be fair, however friendly you get on with the opposition, you could be best mates. At the end of the day, you are there to win. And I don't know the stats on whether Cambridge had picked up a win before that day either, or whether it was potentially the first one for both teams on the line. So if you're Cambridge, you're not only thinking about 3 points, you're thinking about goal difference as well. Because at the end of the day, you could be in with a shout at second place or third place to try and get into those playoffs, or at the end of the day, just try and do well in a league where you haven't necessarily sort of established yourself before. I think it was it the Falcons, Klaudia? Is this your first year actually in the sort of Premier League due to its new format?
Yeah, that's correct. It is the first year. So, we knew we were coming in for a challenge, and in a group chat, we often talk to each other and say just stick to things. So we know that. But the adrenaline going into a game, it's like you just want to go, and yes, you want to win. At the same time, you just want the experience of it and playing against really good teammates. It's amazing. So it's a first. Let's see where we end up. We've got still.
I was going to say, a lot of people will be asking, and to be honest, I'm curious too, because I, to be honest, don't know the answer. Why don't you guys train together very often? You said it was your first game, I think, in the interview with Ian after the game. What's the story there?
We all live in completely different parts of I'm based in Milton Keynes. The girls train in Cheltenham, I want to say, because we're just changing a venue now. That's 2 hours from me, depending on where I am. Then some of the other girls live in West Sussex. Somebody else is near Brighton. So it's almost like we are scattered around so much that finding that time is very difficult. A lot of the girls manage, they do make that time, drive, but a lot of us also, and my job involves a 24/7 hour, employment, and I have to stay where I work. So it's hard for me just to pop out because I'm on duty, I physically can't. Some weekends during the games, I'm also working, so I can't make all the games. And when you don't train and you only pop in for a game, like, you're just there in a way, and it's hard to kind of bond. But I think we did great on the game we played against Cambridge, not having trained together properly. So, and a lot of our players were missing as well, the girls who do train. So it's almost like, but, we did what we did and it worked.
I was going to say, I mean, that's I'd say not training together and living hundreds of miles away from each other at any one time. It's a pretty good excuse for most of the points that I've got on the Falcons' performance then. So let's talk very quickly about Cambridge. No, I was going to say, I don't want to get insulting, no, anything like that. But let's talk about the Cambridge a little bit then. Did you know what to expect going into that game? Because at the end of the day, they started off a little bit slow, but after about 15 minutes, they started ramping the intensity up. They started throwing a little bit more fast breaks and asking more questions of you. Is that something that you guys expected, or were you focused purely on your game?
Coming into the game, I didn't know what to expect personally. I don't think as a team we did, because they knew we had, we didn't have any subs, we didn't have a coach. And during the first half, I think they were trying to figure out how we are going to play this. Who is, and then they kind of figured us out, and they knew that if they do a fast break, or if they apply a little bit more pressure than they would usually, and if our attack breaks, then they know they can go, because we ain't gonna run back. Well, we tried. But we did.
You did a good job for the most part, I think.
I think at the beginning of every game, everybody needs to take time to figure the other team out. And I think that's what they did. And they had the coach who was very vocal, and he also saw how we play. And they just knew what to do, especially during the second half, or even middle and the end, figured us out, where the gaps are, the strength of each player. And then, they just went for it. But we fought back. We did our best. So that's.
I was going to say, as I said, in the second half, it was much more impressive, I thought, with the you showed signs that you can work well as a team in attack. And if you had one or two more subs, the defence would have probably sorted itself out just with fresh legs to run back, I imagine. So, yeah, very well played. That's pretty much all from me, Ian, to be honest, about the women's game. It was really a very entertaining game. It was a bit of a shame that unfortunately we didn't have a few more subs, but all in all, I think Cambridge came and did what they needed to do to get that victory.
Yeah, there's still some games left to come this season now, isn't there? So you're going to get that win now?
Yes, at some positive.
Look, Klaudia, I really appreciate you joining us. I know you've got to go, so thank you so much for joining us. We really do appreciate it. Get your thoughts on the game. It's lovely to see you. Good luck to Arctic Falcons for the rest of the season, of course. And it's a real pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Bye-bye.
See you later.
There we go. What a treat that was to have Klaudia with us as well. Just before we do move on to the men's game, I did speak to Sarah Chamberton. She was the keeper for Arctic Falcons. She was actually a player of the match as well. It could have been a lot more, to be honest, Jack, in the game. But Sarah really wide. A quick chat with her after the game. Here's what she had to say.
Now, I've got some good news for you. I know the game didn't go your way, but you are player of the match because I've got a new name for you. You are the Great Wall of Medway, and I mean that in the nicest possible way. Talk us through it, because there were some incredible saves. You just seem to be there all the time.
I try. I wish it was all the time, but I'm getting older, to be honest with you. So
Give over. I'm not having that. I'm not having that, Sarah.
yes, I am. So I can't just go and get all the balls. But yeah, we're trying at least, you know.
Well, that's it. I mean, it's a hard ask, wasn't it? Because no substitutions or anything. You are missing some key players. How do you think the girls did out there?
I think they're doing well. We have quite a few under, 19 as well. So the first game, they're trying.
Yeah.
And the team Cambridge is quite, experienced. Yeah. So we have a mixture of Sussex players, Kent players.
Yeah.
So we try to meet. It's not always easy, going from Sussex to go to Kent and Kent from Sussex. Yeah. So we're trying our best, really. But now, we still enjoy it.
I've really enjoyed watching you because you, and I wonder if we could get Klaudia over here as well. Klaudia, can you come here a second as well?
There you go. I cut that there because we just heard from Klaudia, and she goes on to pretty much say what we've been talking about quite a bit, and Sarah highlights it there as well, Jack. I think it's just the difficulty of training together, isn't it, that really hampered them. As we said, that was both sides looking for their first win this season, and Cambridge, coming away quite comprehensive winners there.
Yeah, I was going to say quite a few of my notes were the fact that Falcons did look like they were attacking as individuals, whereas Cambridge looked like they were a bit more of a team. And given everything that we've just heard, it's completely understandable from a Falcons perspective. So to focus on Cambridge, also Sarah was deserved man of the match, absolutely flying in goal. Yeah, she was brilliant. So yeah, well done to her. But yeah, from a Cambridge perspective, I think they turned up and did exactly what they needed to do. Yep. Which was, like Klaudia said, sort of figure out the game in the early stages. I think they even went behind maybe, but didn't lose their heads. And then all of a sudden, after 15 minutes, it's pretty much bang on 15 minutes, actually. They started to sort of accelerate the game a little bit, and they started to push the fast breaks and really test the Falcons. And I think you could tell in one of my questions, really, to Klaudia, was the fact that we sort of got the... You got the impression that Falcons was very conscious about the fact that they only had 7 subs and they had 7 players, and they would need to conserve their energy in that first half. And in the second half, Klaudia said it was because they had that chat at half time and everything like that. The handbrake sort of came off, and they didn't worry that they were going to get tired or anything like that because it's almost inevitable. You might as well do it with some flair and with some ambition. Cambridge did, as I said, everything they needed to do throughout the match, and it could have been a lot more if it wasn't for the Falcons goalkeeper. And to be fair, some poor finishing on Cambridge's part, because at the end of the game, I think they had about 11 shots that they missed in the last 15 minutes or something on fast breaks. So yeah, they've got spaces to improve. The Falcons obviously do. We're going to see a lot better handball from them in the future.
And we do have an interview with Aggie coming up a little bit later. Of course, she played for Cambridge in that match, and she actually coached the men's team as well. So we've got sort of double bubble interview there. Right, let's just finish up with the women's. Let's just see how the rest of the results across the Women's South League went throughout the month of December. There's no more games left to play, by the way. It's the 18th today. There are no more games to play until next year now, can you believe, in January. So West London Eagles getting the win against Northampton there, 30-22. As we've just been talking about, Cambridge 34, Arctic Falcons 18. What a game that was. London GDT 8, Olympia 22. They're always good games, aren't they, Joe's ones? Let's have it.
Yeah, absolutely. We love the clash of the capitals, don't we?
We do love a clash. We get a lot of them, don't we? Yeah, we do get a lot of them. Let's have a look at how things went up north, shall we, in the Women's Premier Handball League North. Liverpool picking up another win against Loughborough. That's a 29-20. Nottingham just losing out to NEM Hawks, who we were with last month, of course. So 23 Nottingham, 29 NEM Hawks. Trafford picking up a win there against Birmingham as well, 30 points to 24. That is your results for the Women's Premier Handball League. Let's just have a little look at the table, shall we, as well as we head into the new year. So this is the Women's South table. West London Eagles top of the tree. Well, joint top of the tree with London GD. It's got a better goal difference. So they played 4-1-3, drawn 1. Same for GD. Played 4-1-3, drawn 1. Olympia there played 4 as well. 1-3, lost 1. There's Northampton, sort of middle of the pile there. But they have played 5 games. They've won 2, lost 3. Cambridge, as we just saw, picking up the first win against Arctic Falcons. That's the first win of the season. Played 5-1, lost 4. And Falcons played 4, lost all 4. So far, that will change. Klaudia is assured as that is going to change before the end of the season. Right, let's head up your way, Jack, shall we? Let's go up north and get our passports out. Liverpool, top of the tree, as we can see. Played 5, won 4, lost 1. NEM Hawks in second place played a game less, 4 games, 4 wins. So NEM Hawks unbeaten. Nottingham in third place played 5, won 2, lost 3. Loughborough in fourth, they played 4, won 2, lost 2. Trafford in fifth, of course, picking up their first win of the season against Birmingham, as we just saw. And Birmingham bottom of the table, but do have a win. Quite compact, the Women's Premier North, isn't it? A fair bit tighter than the Southern League, I think, Jack.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a bit of a shame, really. I don't think we saw the true Liverpool when we broadcast them the other week against Manchester Hawks either. So, if you only look back at the footage that we've got of Liverpool, I don't think it's quite representative. So I think that fight for the top spot is going to be very, very close indeed. And obviously, the rest of the team is obviously fighting to try and just nip into that second spot for those playoff games. And it is extremely close. I'm very interested to see how they develop.
Excellent stuff. Right, let's turn our attention to the Men's Premier Handball League South match that we broadcast. Of course, it was Cambridge, but it wasn't against Hearts. It was against the Carshalton Titans. Of course, we had Barry Evans, didn't we, on the show back in October, I think it was. He played in this match. Let's just take a look at some of the action, shall we? Cambridge against Carshalton Titans, Men's Premier Handball League South.
But he's going to be difficult to get through. He is huge, isn't he? And here we go, number 11 on the move and on the attack. And it's Regis Dahl scores early on for number 7. Again, the big Norwegian, Erik Fladman. He winds up and he has a shot and he has a goal as well. So Fladman gets on the scoreboard. And so far, 2 attacks and 2 goals in this game. It's 1-1. Trying to block off, trying to get through the centre. Here is number 10. Oh, what a great goal as well. That was number 10. That's Adam Latter. And the German just stops him getting through. Took a bit of pressure off. There goes number 11. It's a great goal for Cambridge. That's Alberto Luta from Spain with the goal. And it's 2-2. It's a penalty and it's a goal for Carshalton Titans. Titans coach for a quick chat. What is it in? Yes, it did sneak in, didn't it? And Cambridge get the first goal in the second half. It's calm it down a little bit, Miguel. Calm down. Alberto Lucas with a great goal though for Cambridge. Makes it 15-7 in this game. 2 goals in it. This is going to go all the way down to fast play, slow play, attacking intense, solid defence, great saves, everything. We've only had 1 penalty in the game as well, but Carshalton, that's a great example once again of another superb goal. And Titans get that 3-goal lead once again. Straight back on his feet. I tell you, it's a physical game, this handball. They get straight up, and there we go. It is Alejandro Garcia Costa gets one back. And they score right at the death as well. And that is the full time. It finishes Cambridge 24, Carshalton Titans 28.
Yeah, it certainly did. It was a tight game in the end. It did finish Cambridge 24, Carshalton Titans 28. First win of the season for Carshalton. Very, very tight game, Jack. What did you make of it watching it back?
Yeah, I think if you're just watching it back from an outsider's perspective, it was a very exciting one. You weren't entirely sure how it was going to end. It was a very good dynamic between the speed of Carshalton versus the sort of upright brutality of, I would say, of Cambridge. They were very big, very powerful, and their defence, their 2 centre defenders and the 6-0 were massive. I don't know if that's just because how it looked on the camera or whether they did look about 7 foot in real life as well. But I quite liked, as I said, the sort of dynamic between Carshalton. You could tell they were well drilled. They were using a lot of moves. They were very quick from left to right as well on their halfbacks. Whereas Cambridge, they sort of used a little bit more experience running through spaces, but they were very powerful indeed as well. And they had a lot of interchangeability in their team. They had a lot of players. If you actually look at the game, their line player changes about 4 or 5 times between about 4 or 5 different players. And then all of a sudden you think, oh, where's their line gone? And all of a sudden you see him at right back or you see him at left back. And that sort of unpredictability can really cause some teams headaches because it gets quite easy when you play against the same team for like 60 minutes, a bit like how Cambridge probably found it against Falcons in terms of you know who you're marking, you know what their moves are going to be. You sort of learn that after about 10 minutes, whereas Cambridge kept trying to mix it up, which is really interesting.
What I found actually, and this might be unfair to say, and if anybody wants to tell me I'm wrong, please do. You can comment, but we can see them.
Please do.
The live chat is open at Live Sport now on YouTube. That's the best place to comment to guarantee that we'll see it, although we are across the England Handball Association Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube as well. Do comment, you can read them. For me, it felt like Cambridge went into the game expecting to win, but were perhaps caught a little bit by Carshalton, and perhaps didn't quite realise they were as they were, if you know what I mean, with respect.
Yeah, I think that may be a possibility. A lot of teams, a lot of people think you need to go into the game thinking you're the best, thinking you're going to win and everything. And it's almost like a confidence boost. It's an arrogance thing. You sort of walk on with your chest pumped out and everything like that. And, you try and turn that actually into a win sort of thing. But, you might be potentially right. But Adam Latter at the beginning stages, you mentioned him a lot in the commentary. Early stages.
On fire, honestly.
It was brilliant. And it was him, and it goes sort of unnoticed a little bit unless you sort of really do watch handball. The line player that he was working with as well, the number 14, unfortunately, I don't have his name because I didn't have the team sheets because I wasn't there. But he was really good as well. He knew exactly where to screen. He knew the movement. He knew exactly where Adam was going to put the ball around the defenders and everything like that. So he was crucial in terms of their attack. But those two players, certainly at the beginning of the game, really did sort of take it by the scruff of the neck. And I think that surprised Cambridge in a lot of ways. It almost took them 10, 15 minutes to get into their game, and they did come back.
Yeah, they did come back, but then, I mean, it got really close at one point. I think they tied the game. I think they were four goals down, tied the game, and they just couldn't get their noses ahead. Then Carshalton just ran away with it and then managed to maintain that sort of 3 or 4 goal lead for the rest of the game. It was a brilliant match to watch. Do go back and watch these games, by the way. If you haven't seen them, that was just a snippet of the matches, just to show you kind of a bit of the atmosphere and what was going on. They are all across the England Handball Association channels. Go back, watch the full games if you get it, because especially this one, Cambridge Carshalton Times, was a wonderful exhibition, because even up until the last 2 minutes, you still weren't totally sure. It looked like Cambridge at any point could suddenly score 4 or 5 in a row without reply. But they just couldn't quite get it, and Carshalton just controlled the flow of play, Jack.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of, how I've done my notes is I tend to break it down into 10-minute segments, and then I sort of analyse who was controlling those sort of 10 minutes. And really, it was relatively even, apart from the first 10 minutes where Carshalton came out on top. All of a sudden, then it was Cambridge sort of eking their way back in and trying to make up a 3 or 4 goal deficit. And you're right, they did manage it. And in fact, on the 40th minute, pretty much bang on, it did go to 19 all. The crucial 10 minutes was from 40 minutes to 50 minutes, because at that point, Carshalton went 9 goals without reply. And Cambridge, it's not like they didn't make shooting opportunities. They did, but they just weren't going in for whatever reason. They hit the post, keeper makes a good save, they step into the area, they travel. It just would not go in for them. And all of a sudden your head drops and the mind's gone and the sort of game's gone at that point. And that was the crucial bit. And it wasn't like Carshalton was making it easy on themselves. They got a 2-minute suspension, Carshalton, so they were down to 6 players in total, and they won that period 3-0. Cambridge went down a player, and Carshalton still won it 3-0 sort of thing. It's those sort of areas of the game where really it did sway heavily towards Carshalton. They did really well. And then the last 10 minutes, the game sort of died away until the last 2 minutes, really. And I don't think Carshalton didn't score in the last 10 minutes at all, and still won the game by 5. So that shows just how ruthless they were in the previous part. Yeah, absolutely. The Dave mentioned a few times. She coached the men's team in that game, and of course she played in the women's win against Arctic Falcons. So it's a bit of a bittersweet day for her. I didn't catch up with her at the end of the men's game. I caught up at the end of the women's game, but we did touch on both games. So let's hear from now her reaction from both games.
Aggie, if we can have a quick word. Let's just, first of all, let's touch on the men's game. Of course, we didn't get a chance to speak after the game. Didn't quite go your way, though, did it?
Yes, unfortunately not quite. I mean, we thought that today's a really crucial match, and we tried our best. The first 10 minutes, I wanted us to be a little bit more forceful in defence, and that didn't happen. We picked it up towards the second half, the first half, so I was happy there. We started running the second half. We were drawing at like 40 minutes in, and then we had a terrible 10 minutes where everything went out.
They just ran away. They scored about 9 with no reply, didn't they? They just went crazy.
And both things happened at the same time. Our defence was a bit like, oh, I can't move. And Carl Charlton is very good at the fast game. They like to continue running, passing. If you don't foul them, they will find a gap. And so that happened in defence. But also in attack, all of a sudden we had like 3-4 ideas what we should play. Everyone knew how we're going to solve it, but nobody told the others. So instead of playing together as a team, it was a bit, okay, let's do this. It's going to work brilliantly. And the other one was, oh, but I thought we're playing that. And so that left 10 minutes where it was chaos on the field. After that, we picked ourselves up nicely. I like that we fought to the end. I like that we didn't say, it was literally 2.5 minutes to the end. It was 7 goals, not going to get that back. Let's make sure everyone gets to play. But we fought on, and in 2 minutes, we got 3 goals back, 4 goals back.
And it was only 4 in the end.
Actually, I really liked it that we did fight in the end and not say, we can't win it, so screw this.
You finished on a high, that's what you've got to do, because that's what you take into the next game.
It's a shame, because I feel this was one of the games we should bring home, and we had 3 games like this season already where I feel we could have had it, but we didn't. But what can you do? You know, go back to training and we'll come back stronger second half.
Let's turn that frown upside down, because you've just had a win, of course. So talk us through that game. I mean, of course, Arctic Falcons missing some players, of course, but you were just in control from the start.
So I think that was for our team a very nice experience. I know it's super hard for Arctic Falcons, both not having a sub, we have that many times this season, very hard, not having a coach, we don't even have timeouts. And of course, being a game, we profited from that. We didn't take our time out because we knew they were going to be more tired than us. And so, you know, welcome to them for fighting to the end.
So you did it tactically on paper. You don't want to give them a minute's rest, do you? A couple of times.
Literally. So, why would we stop when you're more tired than me?
I like that.
And so I have to give credit to them because they fought really well. And it's a hard situation. But at the same time, our girls did brilliantly. We had a really good defense from the first moment because Arctic Falcon has a few really good, strong shooters, but we controlled them efficiently. Ran the fast break, and that opens up the lead. Once you're in control, it's much more comfortable. The opponent is always on the back foot, tired from running back, so they easily lose the ball in attack. And our goalie, Lucy, just 17-year-old, first season in the adult league.
She's 17. I didn't know that. Wow.
And doing brilliantly, lots of great saves, which of course helps us to convert it into goals.
Remember that name, because she was brilliant in goal. She really was.
She is on the talent pathway, so we're hoping big things from her, obviously. You know.
Fantastic. Agnes, thanks so much for having us down here.
Thank you for covering
you've got
us.
nice warm hands.
Freezing. I tell you what, you run up and down a few times, you'll be warm as well. Thank you for covering. It's always nice to have handball a little bit more publicised.
Fantastic. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for having us here. Agnes, congratulations as well for that win.
No, I won't be going running up. No chance. Let's touch on the comments about the men's game, shall we? Because we covered the women's game quite extensively. She was just pleased that they didn't give up at the end. It would be very easy. You mentioned Carl Charlton, they scored 9 unanswered. Didn't score any in the final 10, but they were well ahead, and she didn't let the heads drop. That they carried on going, didn't they? It was too much to ask for them to go and win the game from there. But let's finish on the high and let's take this result, into the next game.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'll hold my hand up. I haven't seen that interview, and yet the first 2 minutes of her interview is exactly what I said earlier on. Frank, I'm just glad I'm right. I'm just glad I'm right for once. But yeah, no, it's exactly that. You've got to be able to take something into the next game. It's something into training as well. I mean, the next game is quite a long time away. I mean, these games were 2 weeks ago? They were beginning of December, weren't they? Their next game is probably going to be in mid-January. So
end of Jan, long time.
Exactly. So that's a long time to sit on something. They'll have training before that. And so you've actually got to take the positives into training and then work on those things as well. Obviously work on the negatives, but a lot of what Cambridge did, like she just said there, that 10 minutes was more of just everyone having a bit of a freak sort of brain fart at the same time for some reason. You can't really explain it sometimes as a coach or even as a player. You just forget to do certain things, or the game just sort of passes you by, and then all of a sudden you can switch it back on. And yeah, fingers crossed Cambridge will come back stronger, because I did enjoy watching them play. And to be honest, as I said, the early part of the game was really exciting. I think they scored, I think there was 5 goals in 3 minutes. The first 3 minutes of the game, there were 5 goals. Carl Shelton won it 3-2. It was incredible.
Yeah, it was an absolute lightning start. Now, we've heard from Aggie there, of course, coach of the men's team for Cambridge, and played, of course, for the women's side. Let's hear from a very happy Miguel, who's very vocal, by the way. The Shelton Titans coach, Miguel, was very, very vocal on the sold out of him after the game, and here's what he had to say.
A chat to the team, but if we could just have a very quick word. Sure. The game was so tight, wasn't it, up to half time? And then what happened? What did you feed him at half time? Because the second half of the second half, you just ran away with things.
It was more or less a thing of confidence. It was to give him a little bit more confidence that they could do it. The league is so tight, you know. We're clearly going to have a runaway winner in GD, and the rest of the teams are really, really tight. So we had to come here and try to put a little bit of speed more in the second half, to try to put a bit of distance between us and them, and then just trying to control the game. So
it's perhaps a nice thing to take after the Chelsea game last month, because they're losing that one by 1. You've come out and shown, you've had some great comments saying you guys can take it to the next level, and you've shown that.
It's still, I know it's a cliche, but it's still 7 games to the season to finish the 7 or 6 now. Yeah. And our objective is to win the 6 games and to be first or second spot, to be in the Final Four. That's our objective. That's how we're going to work. The lads are doing great. So, you know.
A quick word on Maxwell Collier, Adam Latter, and Regis Dorr. They just link up so well, don't they?
They do. They play a lot. They play a lot together for God knows how many years. I was still playing. I still had hair when when I saw them starting playing.
To you,
exactly. Yeah, it's handball. All this is handball.
I won't have any.
So yeah, exactly. So they play for such a long time together, and they understand each other, and it's good to see them like this. And it's good for it's good for UK handball as well, to see British players coming and having good quality as they have.
Yeah.
So
there you go. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, first win of the season for Carshalton Titans there. That was head coach Miguel looking. He got happier as the interview went on. You wouldn't know it, everyone, when I first spoke to him, but he did mention, I think you touched on it a little bit earlier, Jack, the trio of Regis Dorr, Collier and Latter, those 3 just absolutely made it for the Carshalton Titans, that they were almost unstoppable.
Yeah, I mean, he said that they've been playing together years. I would have guessed that. I think everybody would have assumed that watching the game. They just sort of knew the movements so well. I'm guessing they've played in talent pathways together as well, because they all seem very good players. And yeah, they've obviously been coached by a variety of coaches as well. But to give him, unfortunately, I've forgotten his name off the top of my head, the Carshalton coach.
Miguel. Miguel, is it Miguel Figueiredo?
Yeah, well, Miguel will say, without butchering his name too badly, he deserves massive credit, because as the game became 19 all, there was sort of a 30-second period where Cole Shelton all of a sudden just did a fast break out of nowhere, and a timeout got called. And after that timeout is when they went nine straight. And I think that's got to be something. I don't know exactly what he said. He said something about giving them confidence. He must have said something pretty magical to give them that much confidence. And so, yeah, well done to him. But you're absolutely right. I mean, there was fast breaks down the left-hand side, but really in the centre of the court, when they had to control the game, Adam Latter, the right back and the line player, really did sort of cement that for Carshalton.
Yeah, do go back and watch his games, as we said a few times already. All of the games broadcast live this year so far across the England Handball Association social media channels, Facebook, Twitter and YouTube. They are the place to do it. And if you have a question at any time, you just want to make it, please do comment where we can see the comments. I know the EHA do go back and check them out. If you, we can show them on screen, but only if you keep them clean. There we go. Let's have a little look, shall we, at how things panned out across the rest of the spectrum for the men's Premier Handball League. Let's start with the South results for December, shall we? There with London Eagles taking on Chelsea. And Chelsea getting the win, Jack. Does that surprise you a little bit?
Yeah, West London Eagles normally one of the teams that sort of turn up, especially well for any team in any game they go to. So maybe there's a little bit of it. Maybe people are on holiday or something like that, or have gone home. I don't not entirely sure, but maybe Chelsea just played really well. Let's not discredit them at all.
No,
they haven't had that many wins. They haven't had that many standout performances in terms of the numbers that we've seen. We haven't seen them live yet, of course, but maybe they just turned up really up for it and managed their game plan to a T. So well done to Chelsea.
Yeah, we did mention actually Chelsea in that interview with Miguel. Of course, Chelsea beat Carshalton Titans. I think it was 28-27 last month. So just the point in it. So I think a bit of extra impetus there for Carshalton to get the win, which they managed to do. Cambridge, of course, losing to Carshalton's Titans in that match, as we just saw. London GD 28, Olympia 33. As we mentioned with the women's, always a good game. That one, isn't it? Any games in the capital always get juices going, don't they? Let's move over to the men's North results, shall we? And Liverpool 25, Manchester 33. Great win for Manchester, that, Jack.
Yeah, no, I'm impressed by that one, to be fair. Manchester, one of the teams that weren't in the sort of Premier League on its previous format. Liverpool, one of the teams that looked like they were going to be. So the fact that Manchester have come over with not only a win, but a commanding one as well is really impressive.
Yeah, win as well, 28-24 against Nottingham, and Manchester and NEM Hawks both playing twice in the month, but it was NEM Hawks picking up a pair of wins, actually 39-33 in that one. So let's have a little look at what that has done for the table, shall we? In the men's North, let's start with the North because we just covered that off, shall we? Nottingham leading the way, 4 games played, 3 wins, 1 defeat. NEM Hawks undefeated so far this season, played a game less though than Nottingham. Liverpool just the 1 win, actually 3 defeats. They currently sit in 3rd place. Birmingham in the 4th, 4 games played, 1 win, 3 defeats. And Manchester as well, 5th place, 3 games played, 1 win, 2 defeats. Let's have a little look at the the men's table south. That's how things look. Not too many surprises. It's London GD and Olympia 1st and 2nd, is it? Although Olympia do have a game in hand on GD there. Chelsea in 3rd. They're having a good season, aren't they? Played 3 wins to the name, 2 defeats. So we haven't touched on Chelsea too much this season. So we apologise to Chelsea, but they're going very strongly indeed. Carshalton, of course, with their first win of the season against Cambridge, played 4, 1, lost 3. West London Eagles have only played 3 so far this season. They've won 1, lost 2, and of course Cambridge yet to get off the mark this season. What do you make of that table there, Jack? No surprise really, the top 2.
No surprise in the top 2, but the top 2 aren't cemented. I think is the surprise for me. As I said, we haven't really focused that much on Chelsea. They've sort of flown under our radar a little bit. We will hopefully go and cover one of their games, of course, because we're trying to cover everybody's games at least once. But yeah, they're really impressing me at the moment. To be 3rd in that table amongst some really strong opposition. We've already seen how good Carshalton and Cambridge are, and they're sort of Cambridge are at the bottom of the table at the moment, and I would say that they don't look a bad handball team at all. No, so Chelsea are doing well, and I know they've got a couple of teams around them have got a couple of games in hand and everything like that, but there's no real reason why they're only 2 points behind the league leaders, I think. And the league leaders only have a game in hand or something like that. I can't remember now off the top of my head, but it's very, very close indeed. I'm impressed with those guys. I'm very impressed with those guys.
Now, I've got some breaking news. Jack, you don't know this actually, but I can reveal next month's live games. Ooh. Now, of course, subject to everything going ahead as planned with regards to venues, etc., etc., etc. Of course, we've just covered the south, so that means we're going back up north again. Oh, where are we going, Jack? Are you excited?
Absolutely, yeah. Right. Hopefully, I'm not on another Christmas do this time.
Right, well, I can reveal all. The men's Northern Premier Handball League game looks a little something like this. There it is, Nottingham versus Manchester in the men's Premier Handball League North. Date yet to be confirmed. I think it's going to possibly either be the 15th or the 22nd. It just depends if they can marry up the venue sorted. So that's going to be the men's Premier North game. game. Nottingham taking on Manchester. What do you think about that, Jack?
Well, it'd be very exciting indeed. I've wanted to watch Nottingham for a while. A couple of people have been messaging me asking, when are you covering Nottingham as well, because I've got a couple of friends who play there now, and I've been very interested in Manchester as well, because I was half tempted this season to actually start playing handball again, and Manchester was the team I was probably going to go and approach. So I'm interested to see what the sort of the levels that those guys are operating at, and obviously Nottingham, I think towards the top. I think they are top of the table, aren't they? Actually, and so I'm very much looking forward to seeing how they operate, especially as they've got Ricardo as their head coach. Luke Jennings, who's helped coach the GB side with Ricardo, he's part of their setup as well, and also one of my friends. So yeah, they were in the National Cup finals that we covered last June as well. So yeah, fingers crossed they can excite us, and Manchester can really put on a show. Yeah,
they can. Right, that's the men's game. What about the women's game? Well, there's a big clue in that. As you know, we try and cover off one team. As many teams as possible. Here's the women's game. Of course, Nottingham, unsurprisingly, aiming to be all on the same day, will be taking on Loughborough. That'll be the Women's Premier North. And another tasty game there, Jack.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't want to be a fool of my geography, but that's about as close to a derby as you get for those two clubs, I think, isn't it? Nottingham and Loughborough, relatively close together. Not
very well connected by the M1, I think. Yeah, very well connected by the M1.
Yes, exactly. So, yeah, looking forward to that one. Loughborough had many a run-in with them when I was a student for Leeds Beckett University. Obviously, the nature of a university team mean they churn out new players all the time, and it was about 5 years ago that I last played them, 4 years ago, I think. So I'm looking forward to seeing how their new crop get on. And of course, the Nottingham women as well will be exciting, I'm sure. Don't know much about them, but I'm looking forward to learning.
Excellent stuff. So there you go. That does just about wrap up Handball Hits then for December. It's been another fantastic month for men's and women's Premier Handball League. Jack, thank you so much for joining us once again. You're going to be with us in January. You're going to come to Nottingham, aren't you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Fingers crossed it's on the 15th. That'll make it a lot easier for me. But don't worry, Ian, I'll be there this time.
Good man. Now, don't forget, please do comment below. Please like, comment, and share. We want to get handball shown to as many people as we possibly can. If you do want to find out more about how to get involved, or just generally more about the Premier League, there is the website to go to, www.inbuild.com. You don't even have to type it out. There's a link in the body of this broadcast wherever you're watching it. So please just give it a click. It will take you straight through. It's that simple. We will be back live next month for you in Nottingham for those two games. And at the end of the month, of course, we'll have January's edition of Handball Hits, your monthly dose of everything to do with the men's and women's Premier Handball League. Jack, thank you once again so much for joining us, Handball Hits. It's such a pleasure to get your intelligent insight, shall we say, something better than mine. Huge thank you to Klaudia for joining us from Arctic Falcons to get her opinion on the game, pushing against Cambridge as well. Big thank you to Aggie from Cambridge. Big thank you to Miguel from Carshot Titans. Big thank you to all of you for watching as well. We will be back live next month. Keep an eye out for a lot more handball, live handball, and handball hits. Take care. Bye-bye.